First, let's define motivation. Motivation can be defined in many ways. For the purpose of this video, we will define it as an energized internal state resulting in goal-directed behavior. Motivation can manifest in various contexts: home, school, work, or sports, to name a few. Motivated individuals can be serious about what they are doing, or it can be for fun. Basically, it boils down to this: goal-oriented activities. Motivation in the classroom can be a big issue. There are several theories that can provide insight and solutions. However, this video will focus on causal attribution theory and goals and goal orientation. Causal attribution, as defined by Bernard Weiner, is a cognitive theory crediting individuals as rational and conscious decision makers. There are two main facets to this theory. One, that people are motivated by mastery or understanding of themselves and their environment. Two, that people seek to make their world more predictable and controllable. The theory was further divided into three dimensions: locus, stability, and controllability. The locus dimension can be internal or external, with internal being ability and effort, and external being difficulty and luck. Stability looks at how stable the cause is over time. Controllability looks at how much control the individual has. You might be asking yourself, why is this important? It's important because it helps to provide insight to the events and behaviors that occur, helping us to better understand our students and how to help them. For example, let's take a look at Jim. In many ways, Jim is a typical 15-year-old. He is an active child who dabbles in a lot of different things: wrestling, mountain biking, Boy Scouts, and he also plays the cello and piano. Overall, Jim seems comfortable with average performance. I say this because Jim does not take the time to practice his sports or instruments independently, nor does he spend time studying outside of school. He is a B.C. student, but capable of much more. Let's use a causal attribution lens to take a deeper look at Jim's recent math test. Unfortunately, he got a failing grade. While it is rare for Jim to make below a B in math, he does not feel he is very good in the subject. When asked why he felt he failed the test, Jim admitted to not studying, but he also said he did not understand the material. Jim was allowed to complete test remediation, where he met with his math teacher and reviewed the material until he showed mastery. He was then permitted to retake the test. Jim scored a B on his math retake. Jim attributes his failure to lack of overall ability and a lack of effort. However, this is where things get interesting. Jim does not attribute his successful retake to effort. He instead credits the higher grade to luck. It seems that Jim found some notes right before he went in for the retake when he was looking for something else, and these notes helped him to understand the material. If we look at the three pillars of causal attribution, locus, stability, and controllability, Jim gives a lot of power or credit to the internal aspects. He is able to reassign ability and effort to his failures. However, he does not apply the same consideration to his successes. Jim seems to perceive his deficits as stable. and he feels little control. He has to go to school, he has to take tests, but he fails to realize he could gain control by studying and instead attributes all his hard work with the remediation to the luck that he feels for he gained when he found the notes. It is a little bleak and concerning that Jim takes little ownership or pride in his successes. However, now that we know this, we can focus our attention to helping Jim see the positive correlation between his efforts and his coursework. We should also consider that Jim may have some negative self talk and help him to realize that he is intelligent enough to be successful and he does not have to rely on unstable, uncontrollable external factors like luck. All it takes is a little effort and he will start to see some improvement. Now, let's take a look at goals and goal orientation theory. Simply put, goal orientation theory is the belief that setting goals is a key aspect to motivation, where a goal is an acknowledgement of a need and serves as a tool of self motivation to meet that need. There are two main goal orientations: mastery and performance. Mastery goals are goals that an individual implements to learn and or master a skill or task. Performance goals, specifically performance avoidance goals, are goals that are set by an individual to illustrate competence. Mastery goals require a lot of intrinsic motivation. The individual needs to believe that they are capable of achieving anything they set their mind to. In other words, the only limit to their success is their effort. Performance goals, on the other hand, are instituted to get the individual to a certain point. They can often be a goal to just not fail or to do better than a peer. It is common for an individual who sets performance goals to have a predetermined ability and the belief that no amount of work or effort will get them past that predetermined stage. Let's check in with our friend Jim again. However, this time, let's look at how Jim handles an upcoming mountain bike race. Jim has always loved to ride his bike and was never deterred by a fall. He participated in BMX for a while, but really felt a passion for mountain biking. He is on a cross country mountain bike team, but lately has exploring downhill and enduro racing. Let's check. When asked what his goals are for the race, Jim joked and said he just wanted to stay alive. He then added that he would like to do better than he did last race, but would be happy if he finished at least in the middle of the pack. When asked what work he had done to achieve this goal, Jim said he hadn't done much. He had only ridden his bike a few times and mentioned that he didn't see any benefit to riding his bike around town since it doesn't replicate race conditions. He did not do any mental preparation, such as reviewing the race course or watching YouTube videos of the bike park and its facilities. A friend of Jim's was much more proactive in his race prep. He was riding his bike daily and had read everything he could find about the park, watched YouTube videos highlighting different course features, and strategized on how to best attack each feature. He had also evaluated the race course map and made a plan on the best way to complete the course. Who do you think sets mastery goals? Jim or his friend? If you said Jim's friend, you'd be correct. Jim seems to set performance goals. Further questioning shows that Jim does believe he has a predetermined ability, and he doesn't feel he has peaked yet, but he does believe he will reach a plateau eventually. This mindset is self sabotaging, as Jim puts in minimal effort because he sees no point if he will only ever be so good. You may be asking yourself, how do we help Jim? The first phase involved us evaluating how Jim processed the information surrounding mountain bike racing. Jim doesn't have a coach for this sport, so it is largely him and his friend figuring things out. Occasionally, there are older dad types at the park who will provide pointers. Jim mentioned he doesn't really understand what the others are saying sometimes. And so he was told it was okay to ask follow up questions to make sure that he understands and gets the help he needs. He also mentioned that he sometimes struggles translating what he knows into action. In light of this, we focused on cognitive conditions that he has learned at other experiences in past races or practice runs. We also talked about the skills that overlap between the enduro discipline and the cross country discipline that he's been doing for longer. We talked about how he can apply these skills that he has learned with his cross country riding to the new discipline. A big part of this will be riding the bike more often, even if it is just on local trails. The next phase will be to reprogram Jim's thinking and to hopefully get him to see the direct and positive correlation between his effort and his results. Implementing the goal theory and using the SMART acronym, searching, monitoring, assembling, rehearsing, and translating, to evaluate what he has learned and the successes he has had. Jim will see that he is capable of much more and that pushing himself will help him to go further than he perceives his ability to be. He may never be a pro rider, but he can certainly be a contender if he chooses to be. Understanding our students can go a long way toward tapping into their motivation. The reflective nature of causal attribution theory can be very beneficial in helping us understand why our students act the way they do. Evaluating the types of goals a student sets also provides valuable insight into how they think and operate. When we pair the two theories together, we can maximize how we help our students and encourage them to bloom to their fullest potential. I would like to say a big thank you for watching, and I hope that you have found this video helpful. Your students are very lucky to have someone who wants to help them.